Welcome to Fightmaster Yoga. It's the place to be when you want to feel a little bit better. I'm Lesley Fightmaster. I'm so glad that you're here. Today we will do some yoga and make us feel really good. I mean, come on. Life gets a little bit difficult every now and again. So I just want this to be your refuge, your place to just push play, roll out your mat and go, ah, we made it. So 30 days of Hatha yoga happiness. This is day one, and I have been doing a lot of reading about what makes people happy. I've been studying positive psychology because I want us to feel happier, and I want to give you some tools that will help you to feel a little bit happier. Because this is coming from me. I am not normally like a real positive person. My brain kind of scans for negative stuff, and apparently that is the way that our brains were wired. But the good news is that we can change that wiring a little bit, so we can start scanning for the positive and finding ways to feel happier every day. So every day we're going to unroll our mats, have 2 blocks and a strap, either a blanket or a pillow to sit on if you wish, and that's all you're going to need. Put on something comfy. Let's get started. We'll begin our practice today sitting up nice and tall. So you might see I'm sitting on something, and that is to raise my hips, so it helps me to lengthen my spine a little bit. So I invite you to sit up on something, or if you don't need to, if it's not comfortable for you, then just sit right on the floor, crossing at the shins. But do be mindful of the sitting bones grounding down into the floor and then lifting up away from there, so creating space in the body. And then close your eyes once you get settled. And begin to focus your attention on your breathing. So important. The breath is the practice. So as long as it's available to you, your breath will be in and out through the nose, with a little constriction in the back of your throat. This is called Ujjayi pranayama. It means a victorious breath. If you're not sure how to make that little constriction in the back of the throat, the easiest way is to inhale through your nose, exhale out of your mouth like you're fogging a mirror, and then once again inhale, exhale like you're fogging the mirror. Halfway through, close your mouth, and then you can find that little sound in the back of the throat, that little constriction. It helps to warm your body from the inside out. So as we are settling into our body, just take a moment to, again, notice the sitting bones connecting down into the floor, into your mat or your blanket or pillow. And take one hand, either hand, and just touch the floor with it. And just allow that hand to help you to feel grounded and connected. Just imagining that you are actually being drawn down toward the center of the earth, and as you're being pulled down, your rest of your body from the waist up is lifting up away and feeling lighter and creating space. And some days I'll have you create your own intention, and some days we'll create an intention together. So day one, let's create our first intention together. Let's bring our hands together in front of the heart. This is Anjali Mudra. Creating our intention. May this practice help to remind us to connect to our bodies, to help us stay grounded in the present moment, and to help us to remember to breathe and to start to scan the world, scan our lives for the positive. And releasing the hands, and then just let your eyes softly blink open. Now we're going to switch the cross of the legs so the other shin is in front. And if you can, try to line up your ankles underneath your knees when you're sitting with the shins crossed. And still grounding down and lifting away from that, take an inhale and sweep the arms up. Palms will face each other. Let your shoulder blades release away from the ears. And then exhale, let's bring the arms back down. So we're gonna kind of ease into it today, day one. Inhale again, sweep the arms up. Let the shoulder blades relax. And exhale, take the arms down. One more time, inhale, sweep the arms up. And exhale, take the arms back down. Good. Take your right hand and bring it behind your back. Take your left hand to your right knee. Inhale, sit up nice and tall, and exhale, just a gentle twist. So again, as you inhale, lengthen up through the spine. As you exhale, roll your right shoulder open and twist. And then inhale, head to center, exhale, unwind, and we'll switch. Left hand behind the back, inhale, right arm up, exhale, take it across. Again, inhale, sit up tall and lengthen, exhale, roll the left shoulder back and twist. Every inhale, create some space. Every exhale, maybe twist more. And bringing the head to center, let's unwind. So we're gonna come onto our hands and knees. I'm gonna move my pillow off to the side. So when you're lining hands and knees, line up your wrists under your shoulders with your knees underneath your hips. Spread out the fingers nice and wide. As you inhale, we'll drop the belly, lift the chin and tailbone up. As you exhale, round your back, draw your chin in, and pull your ribs and belly in and up. And again, inhale, drop the belly, lifting the chin, lifting the tailbone. Exhale, round the back, chin in toward chest, press away from the floor. Again, inhale, bring your heart forward through the gates of your arms. Exhale, rounding the back. Then take your hips all the way back to the heels into a child's pose. And we'll reach the arms forward in the child's pose. So if you can rest your head on the floor, rest it on the floor. If it doesn't work for you, for now, you can make fists with your hands and rest your head on your hands. But just reconnect here to your breathing. So if you can walk your fingertips forward if the arms are straight so that the elbows come off the mat. And just take a couple long breaths. And while you're here, just think of something that you're grateful for. I've found that gratitude is an action, and we have to work it just like we work our yoga practice. We have to work our gratitude practice, and it helps with happiness. Now, keeping the arms extended in front as they are, come back up onto your hands and knees. And then turn your inner elbows toward the front of the mat. See how they can turn forward? As you turn them forward, press a little extra into the thumb and first finger side of your hands. And my triceps are going to spin back toward my feet. My biceps will spin toward the front of the mat. So I'm going to keep that. I'll keep pressing into the thumb and first finger side of the hand, and then tuck the toes and come into downward facing dog. And let's keep the knees bent for this first part. So with the knees bent, I can stretch back a lot and get some nice length through the spine. Keep my hips up high. And then start to stretch out that right leg. And rebend it, stretching the left leg. Rebend it, bending both knees again, keep the hips high. And then start to reach both heels toward the floor and breathe. Arms are shoulders distance apart, the feet are hips distance. Let your head just hang so your ears and arms are in line. And really focus in on your breath. See if you can keep your inhales and your exhales equal in length. Take one more breath here. And then make your way back down onto your knees and back into child's pose. Now, just to remind you, anytime you want to take a break, child's pose is always an option. No matter what we're moving through, you can drop your knees down, take a child's pose, you can push pause, and then just jump right back in when you're ready. So take an inhale, sweep your arms out around and hook your thumbs at your low back, or you could interlace the fingers. As you exhale, start to lift the arms up any amount, stretching the shoulders. And just take 2 long breaths here. Try to keep the elbows a little bit soft, not locking into them. One more breath. And then take the hands back down and reach them forward again. Big breath. And then inhale again. Arms to the lower back. We'll interlace, put the other thumb or the other pinky on top. As you exhale, start to reach those arms up. Alternately, instead of holding the thumb or the fingers, you could also hold a strap between your hands. 2 long breaths here. And then releasing it back down. So reach the arms forward again. So from here, we'll start to turn the triceps down toward the floor and the biceps up toward the ceiling. Again, pressing into the thumb and first finger side of the hand. Back up onto the knees, tuck your toes, in downward facing dog. Make sure that your down dog is nice and long, and if you want to stretch out the spine by bending the knees, do that. And if you do have tightness in your hamstrings, I would rather you bend your knees and keep your spine long as opposed to keeping the legs straight and a little more forward, because we really want to get that traction through the spine. Now draw your belly in and up, and inhale, ripple the spine forward into plank pose, top of a push-up. So anytime you like, you can take your knees to the floor. If you want to work a little bit harder, keep them off. But lift the backs of the knees if they're off the floor, pull in the belly and press up between the shoulders for 3 breaths. Keep the gaze a little bit forward instead of letting the head drop. 2 and 1. Exhale all the way back. And then one more time, plank pose as you inhale. For 5 breaths, knees can be down here. 4. So if it hurts your shoulders or anything, please take the knees down. 3. 2. This time we're going to lower all the way to the belly. Knees down first or not is up to you, but exhale, lower down. Untucking the toes, bring your hands by your low ribs, and inhale, peel your chest up. Press all your toenails into the floor, all 10 of them. Pull your belly away from the floor, but press your pubic bone down a little. And then lower. All right, firm your legs again. Press all those toenails down. Inhale, come up. And then this time, stay as high as you can and lift your hands. So you're really working your back muscles. 3 breaths. Keep the belly lifted, tailbones reaching toward the heels. 2 and 1. Then inhale will come all the way into a higher cobra, a low cobra, or upward dog. If you're an up dog, get your thighs and your knees off the floor. And then exhale, lift the hips. Tuck the toes, downward dog. And breathe. And starting to feel the energy in the body. Let's take a long breath in. Exhale it all out. Bend your knees, lift your hands, and walk or hop your feet up. Then inhale, bring your hands to your shins, come halfway up. And then exhale, fold forward. Walk your feet to hips width. And bend your knees as needed. And just hang. Hold on to your elbows. And gently rock side to side. Keep your belly gently lifted. And if your legs are straight, rock your weight toward the balls of your feet. Otherwise, it doesn't matter so much. And now let the arms hang down. Lightly nod your head yes. Turn your head no. With a slight bend in the knees, grab your hip bones, and with a long spine, inhale and come all the way up. We're going to come into Tadasana, or mountain pose. So either you'll take your big toes together with your heels slightly apart, or if that doesn't feel real stable, take your feet to hip socket distance apart. So when I say hips distance, sometimes the tendency is to go a little wider than we think, than we need to. So we're talking about the hip sockets, okay? Make sure the outer edges of the feet are parallel. And now, just like when we were sitting and finding the sitting bones, I want you to find the connection of the feet to the floor, as if they're being pulled down. And then from that place, that stableness, start to lift away. So you'll lift the inner arches, you'll lift the leg muscles, pull up on the kneecaps, pull in the belly. Tailbone's gonna lengthen a little bit. And then lift the chest as if there's a string connected to the chest. And just for fun, bring your shoulders up, then back, and then down. And then just kind of soften everything a little bit. Chin is level with the floor. So this is Tadasana pose, or mountain pose. It's an important one because there's part of this pose in all the things that we do. And by the way, it's an important pose or posture for your happiness. So I want you to try this. Standing up nice and tall, just feeling the openness in the chest. Now, I want you to see what it feels like to slouch. So go ahead and slouch. And just notice how that changes the way that your body feels. Now come again and open up the chest, lifting the chest, widening the collarbones, and just notice the difference. It's really, really hard to feel happy if you're all sunken in like this. But if you're more open, it makes a big difference, and it actually makes you feel happier. So just notice when you're sitting and standing, if you have nice open chest and a lift in the spine, you're gonna feel happier already. Okay, now so adding the breath to that makes it even better. So inhale, sweep the arms up. And exhale, hinge from the hips and fold over the legs. Bend the knees as much as you need to here. Inhale, bring your hands to shins, look up, lengthen the spine. So again, we're not gonna round the back, we'll bring the chest forward. And then exhale, fold. Press down through the feet with a long spine, inhale. And exhale. One more time. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale and fold in. Inhale, look up, lengthen your spine. This time, exhale, bend the knees, plant the palms, and step back into plank pose. Knees can be up or down. We'll lower chaturanga, hug the elbows in. Shoulders no lower than elbows, then inhaling to upward dog or cobra. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Let's take 3 breaths here. Long, smooth breaths. Draw the belly in, let your head hang. Spread out your fingers. Press into the base of the fingers, lift the forearms. One more breath. And then exhale it all out. I'm gonna walk the hands all the way back to the feet this time. And take the feet about as wide as your mat. I'm gonna come into a squat. So watching the knees here, your squat might be about to here. That's fine. If you can lower down more, lower down more. If your heels are off the floor, then you can roll up your mat, the back of your mat, to give them some support. So you can roll it up as much as you need to. Now some of you might have your feet pointed straight ahead, parallel with the outside of the mat. Some might be turned out like mine. Doesn't matter which way it works for you, just that your knees and your toes go in the same direction. So just a little opening of the hips, and we're gonna rock gently side to side here. And then taking the right fingertips down, inhale, stretch the left arm up, opening the chest again. And inhale back to center. Rock gently side to side. And then taking your left fingertips down, inhale, right arm stretches up. And exhale, bring it back down. And then from here, I'm going to take the hands to the floor behind you and just sit right down. So just to create a little bit of strength in the core muscles and the belly muscles, and the core muscles are really all the way around the body from about the upper ribs to the tops of the thighs, so all of that gets worked. But sitting up nice and tall, you're gonna take boat pose, Navasana. Bring your hands behind your knees, sit up tall, keep lifting the chest. We don't wanna round the back here, so lift the chest, and then lifting the legs. You can hold on here, you can keep the knees bent. If you wanna work a little bit harder, and if you can keep your spine long, not rounded, but straight, then you can straighten the legs. For 3, and 2, and 1. Rest a moment. We're going to do that one more time. So again, keeping that nice long spine. Hands behind the knees. Shift the weight back just a little to lift the feet. Keep this chest lifted. Knees can be bent or straight. And remember, you can always hold on. If you're not stable, make sure you're holding on. But you want to keep the spine long. That's important. 5, 4, keep the belly pulled in a little. 3, you might start to feel it in your legs, I do. 2, and 1. Release, good work. Let's come onto our backs for a little bridge pose. So line up the heels under the knees. Draw in through the belly. Lift your hip bones toward your lower ribs. And then inhale, press into the heels and lift your hips. Your low back and mid back, maybe the upper back. And then exhale, lower back down. I'm going to do that same thing. Inhale, press into the heels and lift. And then exhale and lower. I'm going to do it one more time. This time we're going to hold it. So as you inhale, press into the heels and lift. So to hold it, you can grab the sides of the mat and hold there, or you might roll your shoulders under and interlace your fingers. Watch that the knees don't splay open. Spiral the thighs in toward each other as if you're holding a block. Now breathe here. Long, smooth breaths. Keep the chin away from the chest, but keep the chest moving toward the chin. 2 more breaths. And then lower down. And now hug your right knee into your chest and extend your left leg out. And now we'll switch them. Draw the left knee in, extend the right leg out. And now draw both knees in. This time rock gently side to side. Let's give your low back a little massage. And then roll yourself onto your right side. With your left hand, press yourself up. And we'll come into Dandasana, seated pose. So if you're sitting up nice and tall, or you're trying to, but it's not working, maybe you've got some tightness here in the hamstrings or in the lower back, that is when you will want your pillow or your blanket to sit on. That'll help to lift your hips and help you from rounding here. So it's important to sit up nice and tall. So when you're sitting up nice and tall, again, find that open chest. So remember, if you're sitting and you're doing this, it's gonna be real hard to feel happy, right? So you gotta sit up nice and tall. Now, then pull the toes back, and that's gonna firm the legs. So if your feet are just kind of flopping around, then your legs are gonna be floppy. So pull them back, firming the legs. So this pose, Dandasana, it doesn't look like much, but if you sit here for a few minutes, you really, really start to feel all the muscles that you need to keep the spine long. So it is quite a bit of work because we're so used to sitting in chairs. We won't stay that much longer, but just notice, again, feel the grounded down through the sitting bones, lift away from there, roll shoulder heads back, and then we're just gonna take one forward fold. Have a strap handy if it's hard to reach the feet. Inhale, arms reach tall. As you exhale, now we're going to hinge forward from the hips. So keeping the spine long, not rounded, but long. And then if you can reach your feet, grab them. If not, use your strap. But don't worry about getting your head way down. That's not what it's about. It's about bringing the belly forward, the chest forward, and keeping the spine long. So it's the same idea. We don't want to have that roundedness. It's not good for the spine. It's not good for our happiness. So let's take 5 long breaths here. Continue to pull back with the toes and find length as you inhale. And as you exhale, maybe just relax into it a little bit. We never want to force ourselves into anything deeper, but allow the body to surrender in. Just kind of let it melt in. Let the shoulder blades relax. Make sure you're not holding any tension any place, especially the jaw and the shoulders. And then inhale to lift the head. And let's exhale and release. And onto our backs again. So drawing the knees in. This time take the arms to a T, drop your knees over to your left. Look over your right shoulder. If you want to come into a deeper twist, you can cross your right knee on top of the left. Let's take a couple long breaths here. As you're into this one, try to turn your belly up to face the ceiling. So I lift my left shoulder up a little bit and draw it over, and then turn my belly up toward the ceiling. I can feel a little more stretch. But my ponytail got caught. Take 2 more breaths here. And then bring the head to center. Inhale, bring the knees to center. Take your hips off to the left just a little. Exhale, knees to the right, looking over the left shoulder. And again, if you want to take it deeper, cross your left knee over the right. And then you can pick up that right shoulder, scoot it over to the right a little bit. And as you're twisting, your belly is going to turn up toward the ceiling. And breathe. Always coming back to the breath. Just a couple more rounds of breath here. And then bringing the knees to center. Uncross if they're crossed. We're going to come right into our final resting pose, our Shavasana, which is such an important pose, so don't skip it. You're going to extend the legs, let the feet flop open. Now, if you feel any discomfort in your lower back, you could roll up a towel or blanket, put it under the knees, or simply bend your knees and put your feet onto the floor. If your chin seems up pretty, like higher than your forehead, that's when you'll come onto a pillow, because you want the forehead and the chin to be level. Then, take the arms out to the sides, the palms up, shoulder blades toward the waist, tailbone, and buns toward the heels, and then let everything relax. Just be here for a couple minutes, quiet mind and quiet body, Shavasana. All right, where you are, take a slightly deeper breath in and let it go. And start to make some movements in your fingers and your toes. Start to move your hands and your feet. And reach up over, arms overhead, stretch to the legs. And then bend your knees, roll onto your right side and just pause a moment. Again, think of something you're grateful for. And then pressing your left hand into the floor, come on up. And we'll sit up nice and tall. I'm going to sit on my pillow again for our quote. This is a quote by Gotha. Whatever you do or dream you can, begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. Whatever you do or dream you can, begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. Let's bring our hands together. And the hands to the forehead to remind us to have clear and loving thoughts. Our hands to the heart, reminding us to have clear and loving intentions. And our hands to the mouth, reminding us to have clear and loving communications. Sending out positive energy to all beings everywhere. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining us on day one. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and push the like button. Tell all of your friends. And if you didn't sign up for our email list, make sure you do that, because I'm sending out emails with our daily practices. And we have a Facebook group as well that we would love for you to be a part of. So sign up for all of that. And if you can afford a donation for Fightmaster Yoga, and we have a Facebook group as well that we would love for you to be a part of. So sign up for all of that. And if you can afford a donation for Fightmaster Yoga, we are beyond grateful for any donations that we receive, because we know that we are doing the best we can for you, and we know that you are helping to support us, and we're all supporting each other, and that's awesome. So have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.